Major change in the last 2 years. I was in the first I Lead You cohort where I learned a ton of stuff. Interestingly enough, when I was first going through it, I didn't use it all at work. It took me about 4 or 5 months after the last program before I really started figuring out how I was going to, I used the skills I learned, how I was going to learn how to teach it to other people. But now we've got fabulous programs at the Rockford Public Library. Go to our website and check them out and get some really neat digital classes. Today we're going to talk about Google Analytics. And Google Analytics is a free site. It's something that you can get on your own. One of the things that I recommend is if you have a chance right now, is to sign on to your Google account, if you've got a user account with Google. If not, create one. What is Google Analytics all about? Well, Google Analytics is, okay.
You're using Prezi.
Google Analytics, what'd you say?
You're using Prezi.
I am. I'm using Prezi because I can't bear to use PowerPoint ever again. I just can't bear it. So Google Analytics gives you a chance to see what your website's doing. What are users doing when they come to your website? How long do they stay there? What are they doing while they're there? Is there a certain place they go to all the time? Do they just land on the front page and move on elsewhere? That's called bouncing. What it allows you to do is measure many different types of metrics. These are just a very, very few that you can, that they can measure. But they actually measure the number of visits per person per unique IP address, which means libraries really screw up this stuff, the statistics, because it looks like all 100 computers in our library, in one of our libraries, is all one person. So there are some problems with Google Analytics, with all analytics. But it also allows you to see how many pages, how many clicks did somebody do or take before they got where they wanted to go. How many times was this specific page viewed? That type of thing. Stickiness. Anybody know what stickiness means? Actually, how long do they stay on the page? How long do they stay there? Are they engaged when they're on a page? And then bounce rate. That's those people that open up the site and go, oh, hell no, and move on to the next one. And we all do that, right? So that's bounce. That's called bounce. So what it measures are the things that matter to your customers. And that's really, really a hard thing for you to imagine, because we know what matters to us. But Google Analytics is completely and totally objective. There's no subjectivity at all to it. My baby ain't ugly. Doesn't work with Google Analytics, because if your baby's ugly, it's going to show. It's going to show by statistics. You can do charts and percentages and graphs, and it's just an incredible array of information. If you choose to upgrade your analytics subscription, I don't know what they call it, there is an upcharge to use AdWords and to really get in there and find keywords that are bringing people in. But there is a basic ability to see what keywords people are clicking on. So you can see what sites they're coming from, where they're going when they're done with you. There is so much information that's available. And that's all done through cookies. First, the Google cookies, the Google Analytic cookies, or cookies that are set that do the analysis, are first-party cookies. And most of us have our tools and our settings set to allow first-party cookies. What we really don't want is those third-party cookies. Those are the ones that track some other information. But the first-party cookies allows sites to know that we've been here before, but it then allows that site to gather much more information. Any information that's gathered with Google Analytics is going to be shared with Google and with anybody else. You can upgrade again and not share everything, but there is no way to not share everything. There are certain things that you can not share with others, but it's pretty much a big pool out there, and Google owns it. So you do need to remember that. There is some recent information that came out. I think they did it October 16th. They put out Good to Know. Has anybody heard about Google Good to Know? It was a very, very quiet campaign. It's a very important campaign, though. It talks about your security and your what data is shared online. They also released a new add-on that you can use on your browser that actually blocks any type of analytical site from gathering your information. So they can't gather anything about you, where you came from, where you usually go, and all that. Has anybody ever played with Google Analytics and gone in to see who you are, who they think you are? We're not going to get to that right now, but there's actually a place where you can go, and based on where you click and what you look at and what you do, they actually say you're an 18 to 25-year-old man or an 18 to 25-year-old woman. They've actually got it down to some pretty specific things. All right, so who uses Google Analytics? Tons of people use Google Analytics. Panera, UIS, Chili's. Does your library use it? Mine doesn't. Why in God's name would we want to know what people want from us? Good Lord, we have so much to share with them. We don't have time to give them what they want. We are way too busy giving them what we think is great. So Google Analytics is a big deal. So what I want you to do right now, using analytics is a big deal. What I want you to do right now is go to the University of Illinois site. It's www.uis.edu. I bet we're going to raise Jan's eyebrows here.
I don't know.
We are going to look at the source code really quick to see if they actually are using Google Analytics. So you go into the page somewhere where there's not a hyperlink. So right here in the cloud is fine, and right click. You're going to go down and look at this button here that says View Source. This is the page. This is what we're seeing. This is what is making this behind here work. So as we scroll down, if you know code, you're starting to be able to read some of this, but even if you don't know code, you can read some of this. Here's the site or directory. Something's checked. If something's checked, then do this. Homepage, images. So there's information in here that you can actually read without even knowing code. But as we scroll down, the Google Analytics code is always put at the very end, just before the end of the I think it's the something body, end body. I don't know. I'm not a code writer. But when you get right down here, you can actually see it. So how do I know this is Google Analytics? Well, there's a couple of ways. First, I know GAJS host indicates something about Google Analytics, but really, it's a lot easier than that. Can anybody see? It says right there, Google Analytics. So you know that this site is collecting as much data as they possibly can about the people who are going to their site. So Panera is the same way. Excuse me, not Panera. Chili's, well, Panera's does it too. Chili's Bar and Grill. Here's their source code. Look how much more code is in here compared to the last one. It's a lot. But when we get down to the bottom, we see, again, Google Analytics. So what I want you to do right now, I want you to go to your library. Go ahead and type that in there. And let's look and see if any of you are actually tracking any of your data. Oh, wait a minute. This can happen automatically. So remember, you need to be in an area that does not have a hyperlink on it. So make sure you're off to the side, or you're just going to jump around. So here's the website, and here's where I'm from. I'm from the Rockford Public Library in Rockford, Illinois, and we've got a pretty decent looking website. It's not that bad, and a lot of places to go. You know, go to my online databases or local history. Here's our calendar. So there's a lot of stuff in here, a lot of valuable data. But this is the code. This is what is the page. And as I scroll down to the bottom, I see there's nothing in here about Google Analytics. In fact, I sat down one day and I looked at every single line because I thought, well, maybe, maybe they have it somewhere else. Because really, certainly, we are gathering this data. No. Anybody's library doing it? Yours is?
Yeah, it's a school, but it has Google Analytics.
Outstanding, outstanding.
Well, our old one doesn't do it, but I'm in the process of redoing a new website, and those are one of the first things I said.
Okay, good, because it's an important thing. It gives you a lot of good data.
We set it up when we started the website. I know nobody's done anything with it since.
So you've never looked at it since then? Oh, God. You're not alone on that one, though. I mean, at least you've got that data, and that data is there. You know, you can research it back as far as you need to go. So at least you got it. Anybody else? That's pretty good. We got 3 libraries in this room that are using it. 4. That's pretty good, believe it or
Probably
not.
are too.
Huh?
Yeah, we probably are too.
Probably.
Yeah.
In that part of
I
it.
have it set up in my library and I just tried to log into it and it told me that my account had been disabled.
How long has it been?
Several months since I checked it last.
I think it's like at least a year before, but I can't tell you honestly, I know exactly how long they disable it, but you can reset it. It's pretty easy to reset.
I sent the request.
To redo it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty simple process. All right, so what does this tell you? This tells you can go to any website and you can look at their source code. Remember, it's right-click, view source, and see what kind of data they're tracking. There are actually, let's go to eBay. And eBay's hard to find a spot that's not a hyperlink. eBay does not use Google Analytics, but they do use Darwin tracking. So they are tracking, they're paying big bucks to do it. But it may be their own company, because eBay's been around for a very long time. So my bet is they're not using Google Analytics. They've been doing this probably longer than Google's been around, or darn close to the same amount of time. I mean, eBay's as old as Google. So if you start looking at the code, you can actually see that other sites are using it. All right, let me maximize this again. Let's start from here. Okay. Now, let me go. No, that's not what I'm supposed to do. There we go. Okay, so we already did this. Open your website. So this is how you, again, you do it. Open the website, right-click on the page, select view source. So there are a lot of great training opportunities. I originally was going to teach this class and actually show you the Google Analytics for one of my friend's blogs. He's a political blogger, far right. You know, I don't agree on a lot of stuff, but he gets a lot of traffic. Last week, somebody hacked his site and put up the funniest blog I have ever seen. But I thought it was funny and he didn't. So he won't share his password with me anymore because he's not so sure that I didn't do it. I didn't do it. But so we can't use the Google Analytics. But so I panicked last week. I was like, what am I going to do? I can't create a website in time to get any kind of data that we can do. So I went online. I started looking, and I found some really great stuff. I found some great training opportunities. Had nothing to do with the website that I wanted, but one of the places that I found was that google.com/analytics/education.html is a fabulous resource. However, it is definitely not the best resource. The best one I found is right up here that's being offered by webucator.com. Webucator.com. For the month of October, I was like, seriously, how cool is this? They're offering a free use of their Google Analytics training. And I mean, I've been looking at it, I've been going through it. I probably spent 8 or 10 hours in it, and I'm only on lesson 3 or 4 already. So it's a very, I think, an excellent site. Let me show you what it looks like. But to get to it, first of all, we'll get here. You have got to Google Analytics training. You can't go to Webucator and find this free deal. You've got to Google it. And then you get to this site here after you follow all the steps. You're going to go to sign in. You're going to have to use the coupon code Google11. Doesn't matter if it's caps or not. And select the basic service level. It's going to ask for your credit card information. You don't have to put it in. I did it already. This is an outstanding course. I've got to tell you. I'm impressed with how it works. I've been playing with it for a while. So let me see if I can go fun. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with signing into my site, but. All right, so again, webucator.com, use the coupon code Google11 and choose the basic service level. I think it's probably one of the best trainings I've done as an online training resource. It is quick little bites of information. You read 4 paragraphs and you do something. Then you read another 4 paragraphs and they show you something. It is really, really good. But their classes, $450. So this is a real good deal.
So they do a good job.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and I'm kind of picky. I'm a trainer, so yeah. All right, so go back to where we were. So now what do you do? Well, we're going to do something right now. The first thing you do, now that you know a bit about it, is you need to try it. You need to go into Google and create a user account. You need to go to Google Analytics, and we're going to walk through it in just a second, and you need to try to download this data or paste this data into your website. You have to have administrative privileges on the website you're using. You have to go in and change code. So it's a little intimidating, but you gotta try it. If you don't try it, you forget it. You're going to learn how to focus your website. You're going to learn what people want, what they're clicking on. You know what they discovered with Google Analytics? That those big pictures that are right in the middle of the pages, you know, the ones that you hope are really bringing people to your site. Where'd my library go? Those right there are useless. They get very, very, very little traffic. The buttons that get the use are right up here, these things. I can't get where I need to be, right along the top. That's the stuff people are interested in. Your hours, your location, your books. It's very hard on this web page right here to find where our books are. Because once you find it, you have to actually click just in the right spot to get to it. Bad idea. Yeah. So, so these pictures right here, they look great, they make you feel good, they're all about all the great stuff you're doing. People aren't interested. They're not interested in that at all. Did you have I thought you had a question. All right. All right, and you're a tech warrior. You've become a tech warrior here at iLead You. So don't forget that. Try everything. So you fail. It's not that big a deal. You know, get up and try again. Now, I wouldn't try this on your actual library website without getting permission in case you do fail. What you want to try it on is the stuff you've created here. If you haven't created a website, go create one. The big thing is, the big issue with Google Analytics is you must own the domain. It can't be a blog spot. Can't be something like that. You actually have to own the domain to be able to run Google Analytics on it. Bad news about Google Analytics. It can be circumvented. They just made it easier last week by creating that good to know program with the add-on that can allow people's clicks and stuff not to be tracked. So it's not perfect. But it doesn't just block Google Analytics from gathering that information. It blocks anybody that's trying to gather that information. All right, so let's go to Google Analytics. I'm really not a fan of Bing. All right. Super simple to get around. Is anybody on this page? Google.com/analytics. Okay. You just access analytics, click on access analytics, and type in your email and your password. And I gotta think which one I want to use. I'm gonna do. Oh, come on. I gotta remember which one I'm using. All right, so this one I actually haven't started analyzing any sites here. I'm just going to go to a site that I did. So you're going to go, yeah, this is my, I have to go back. I'm going to do this is my daughter's site. I'm just trying to, let me go in and see if I've got this under, you know, I have it so automated. And here's the problem with that. Well, I don't have going on there. It's got to be not my timeline.
Just got a lot of seconds here.
Yeah. Let's try this one. All right, there we go. So when you open up Google Analytics and you've set up an account, you're actually going to come into this account. This is the brand new version. It just came out. The old version is what you saw on what you see and what you're going to see when you look at most training stuff. But this tells you your accounts, what's been going on, what's happening. Again, these two websites don't have the gathering data, the data that you use to gather on it. But to do so, you're going to pick your site. You're going to go right over here to edit. And when you do that, you get into the profile settings for that site. You're going to go right up here and click check status. And when you do that, it gives you code right here. You're going to copy that code. And then you're going to open the site. And again, I can't get in here to do this because this is not a domain site, so I can't go in to show you. But you open the site, you open your source code, you paste it right above where it said body and text. So you would paste it right.
Bless you.
Right there. So you paste it right above this portion right here, the where it says body. So you're just going to set your insertion point there, right click and paste. It's that hard. That's all you do. It's that easy to do. Again, but you have to be in a site that you will have administrative privileges to do that. Did anybody do it on their own site? Is anybody doing it?
Well, I've already done it.
Okay.
I know some in the past I've seen also some WordPress themes. Maybe what happens is you want to find where you can tweak a lot. Some of them have a spot
Right
in
there
your
to-
theme settings that say, like when you're doing the
Creating the
actually looking
page.
at the theme, you're looking at Google
Yeah.
for it all. It says insert your Google Analytics code here. We'll take care of the rest.
Yes, I have seen that. I didn't think about that. That's perfect too. I don't think I'm going to run on there.
Yeah, I mean it's not all of them. It's only some of the themes.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. We won't dive into that right now. Although I think we're going to see it more and more because as new themes come out, that's going to be attached to it.
Yeah.
Because this is all free. All right, so then what do you do now? What happens now? Well, you've added your source code. You're starting to track. Now, when you go back to your websites, you can actually go and we'll just go back to, we'll do bookworm. You go right in here and you can actually, where am I looking for? Oh, this is for standard optional stuff. Gotta get back to the profile. And right in here, you go, this is your website profile information. Here's your URL, your time zone, the information that you have so far. And then you can set goals. And the goals are the things that you want to paste or you want to track. So you might want to track their URL destination. Where are they coming from? Where are they going to when they leave your site? The funnel, a funnel is a great a thing that actually shows you closer and closer and closer what people are doing. So you'll see a grand scheme of things, and then you'll funnel into e-resources searches. And you can funnel down into there. So that's what that funnel means. It helps you. It's really more of a focal point, and it really draws you into what's going on. All right, let me go back here.
Whenever you set those goals up, do you have to copy and paste those in, or you're just setting those up and you just say?
You're just setting them up, and that's already, yeah, it's really more for the reporting end than the coding end. Yeah. Filters, you can also apply certain filters. You might want to filter out anybody from 18 to 25. Now, there's no guarantee that that person is 18 to 25. That's what Google Analytics has decided based on their clicks and where they go. So you're not positive that they're 18 to 25, unless they're a Google user and signed in, in which case you know exactly how old they are, or other users. You can filter for people from San Francisco. I want to see people from San Francisco hitting your page. So filters really help you focus in. Typically what you're going to filter is people from your demographic area. But you don't need to. There's no reason to do that. There's no need to do that. Here is where we add user access to this to use your site. If you go right here, you can click on Add User. And what you do is you put their email report or address in here and say what they can do. They're either an administrator or a viewer, that's it. But that's okay. So if you have a local marketing company that's doing your web page, you definitely want to give them access to that. And probably you're going to give them administrative privileges too, because you probably don't have any idea what they're talking about anyway. Or you haven't in the past. At this point, now you do. I would never, ever give anybody account administrative privileges if I didn't know that they had my best interest at heart at all times. So super simple to add people, super simple to use. You click Save Changes, and now you've added your next person. So make her an administrator. So now when we look down here, these are the 2 people that are administrators. And then you can edit those settings as they go along. So if you assign somebody to view and you decided they've earned administrative privileges, you can up that. And you can down it as well. Some of the reports and things that you can see, and I'm actually going to go to Google Analytics to show this to you. All kinds of interesting types of reports. Advertising, return on investment. So you just did an ad in the Google store. What happened? Well, you can see that you had let me make this bigger, 6,384 visits. And it doesn't make it a lot better. 102,000 impressions, 8,900 clicks. This is how much it cost you to do it. So this is your margin. How are you doing? How are you doing? So for the last ad campaign that you might have done that were all these different, using these different resources, these are the types of information or the types of data that happen. When you create a Google Analytics report, there are 4 types of businesses that they really kind of focus on. One is e-commerce. So what do you think matters to an e-commerce site?
Orders.
How many orders did they make?
Money.
Cost per order, what?
How much money?
Yeah, how much money they spent, cost per sale. How many people abandoned their carts? That type of information. The next site is informational, kind of like a library. So what matters to those kinds of sites? How long did the person stay on the page? What information were they interested in? Where did they come from? Another site would be sales lead generating. That's it. So what matters to a sales lead generating site? That was hard. How many people filled out the form? Where do they come from? That type of stuff. And then the third or the fourth most common of the most common sites is branding. So branding. Go to General Motors. What do you think they want you to do? What cars did you look at? Did you fill out a customer something form? I don't know what they're called. Referral. Thank you. Who sent them there? Did they come from a dealer? Did they come from Google? Did they come there on their own? So all that information is you can find right down here. You can also do, this is kind of nice, you can benchmark. So you can benchmark your company against other companies. So how are you doing against the average? It's kind of a nice thing. You can, and you know, we talk about segmentation that tells you who came from where, who came from a site you're paying, who came from a site that's free, that type of stuff. Lots of other information. The dashboard is where you spend most of your time in reports when you're in Google Reports, and this is a view of a dashboard. But this is just one specific goal, advertising ROI. So when you look at a real dashboard, I'm actually going to go do this. I'll just make it easy. Here's a dashboard. So you're looking at all types of information. Here is your benchmarking. Here is your site usage. Bounce rate is pretty high on that. Here's where they're coming from. I don't even know what that one is, visitors overview. And then here you can see your traffic. Is it direct? Are they actually typing your internet address? That's a great thing. When that happens, you are out there. When they're finding you based on just knowing your internet address, you're doing pretty good. Then referring sites, those are the sites you pay to use, phishing sites and stuff like that included. And then search engines, Google, Yahoo, AOL. Why can't I think of the Apple one? What's the Apple one? Safari. You're sitting there. Is that an Apple?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I'm just assuming like that. Okay, so this is, now you're looking at basic information. You can even see what browser people are using. And there's so much more. Where are they coming from? What's their age? This is just an example of one report that I just pulled off of the internet. Let's see what else I got in here. Find one that's got. I really want to find one that shows demographics, because that's what really matters to the libraries. Here we go. This is a good one. New and returning. This is visits by source. Yeah, that's okay. So returning visitors kind of low. New visitors kind of high. And I think, you know, if you're, I don't know when just no returning visitors is good. I was going to try to come up with a scenario.
Can you put this on a blog?
Huh?
Can you put this on a blog?
Yeah. You mean on the tracking? Absolutely. You can put it on anything that's any kind of internet site. There is one that shows. I really want to show an age demographics. Here we go. I'm just going to do this right. See if that works. There we go. So this is a report that's done with age demographics. So male, female, standard age. Looks like this must be a gaming site.
I was gonna say, how would you track that on a library webpage?
That is all tracked by Google. You're not tracking it, so you're not doing that specifically. That information is for you. Well, people give it to them. People share everything.
This is what, correct me if I'm wrong, but
It's a little appalling. I'm sorry.
What analytics does is it just gathers information, all kinds of information, then you choose which ones you want to see.
Yes. Originally, when websites were born, when servers were born, IT groups just collected this data and started saving data, not with any reason, not with any purpose. And then one day somebody said, hey, I wonder where they're coming from. And an IT guy said, we can find that out. And this just grew from there. Yeah. You're going to be amazed at how much information you're putting out there. And I can't remember the site that you go to find out what you look like on Google.
Because I can imagine if
I don't
I
even
was
know how
signed
to
into
ask.
my Gmail account and I was searching,
Yes.
it's going to know who I am.
Right.
If I'm just looking, I'm surprised it would still know.
Yeah. Well,
Because you sign out of your Gmail account when you leave.
it doesn't
You
have
have to log in.
Yeah. So,
It doesn't necessarily know, but it guesses.
yeah.
How would we search this? How would we search, anybody think of this? How would we search to find your assumed age or something on Google? I don't even know how to ask the question.
Google, George Orwell.
How does Google,
Oh, yeah. Identify user,
yeah. Google Ads preferences. This is where you can get into the, let's see, did you know? I can't even think of it. I can't even think of the search terms. I'm not in librarian mode, obviously, right now. But there are all kinds of, let's see, did you know? Internet sites, gosh, I don't even know how somebody, what I'm trying to do is put something in here, like somebody would type in a blog, so I can find the blog. Did you know internet sites know who you are? Let's try that. No. All right, forget it.
so it's how do you know,
Oh, there, what was that? That was
how do you
good.
know, how do internet sites know who you are?
There you go, perfect. Yeah. page, and I just can't remember where it is, where you can actually type in your information. We did it actually last year here. And I just can't remember what it was, where you can type in your information and it would tell you what they thought, who they thought you were, and there, how to find out what marketing websites know about you. Yeah. There, here we go. No, that's a different one. Awesome. I don't know. I'll ask, you know who will know is probably David. We'll ask David Links. He knows. All right, so, gosh, that went really fast. You know what? I came in here when I walked in this room, I just really cringed because this is where I was teaching App Inventor, and I was just like, oh, God, please, just let the computer work this time. So it worked. Yay! Yeah, I was in here as early as I could making sure it was going to work. So, let me tell you a little bit about App Inventor. Did you all know that Google gave App Inventor to MIT?
Gave what?
App Inventor, Google App Inventor, was given to MIT about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And the rule is they've got to keep it free, they've got to keep it open source, and they've got to educate people on it. So MIT's agreement was they would create a college-level course on it, using it, and make it free and accessible to anybody. Yeah, so.
What is App Inventor?
App Inventor is it's Google Android App Inventor is a plug-and-play program that allows you to create an application for your phone. And it's really pretty cool. Pretty easy to use, and we fed the librarian. And we did it. I just couldn't show it online because the computers weren't working. For whatever reason, the computer wasn't working. But everybody was able to do it. And so they fed the librarian, because that's what we do here, is feed the librarian. Any questions on Google Analytics? That went way faster than I thought it would.
Is it Google Dashboard that you're thinking of? Is that
Yeah.
where you go? Okay.
Does the Google Dashboard?
Is that what you're talking about, where you go in and it says about me on, or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me look at that.
I think if you just go Google Dashboard.
.com?
I believe. Google.com /dashboard. Should take you there.
Here it is.
And then your profile.
Sure. Which one is it now? That's that. Oh, see, here's where this is part of the new thing. This has been there before, but they're now starting to show what your information looks like. Here's your analytics. Oh, see, it knows what my device is.
See, my profile is between analytics and me on the web on my Google Dashboard.
Is
For
it?
some reason, yeah.
I'll go find mine. Contacts. Docs, nothing interesting here. I used to teach docs and I stopped. I dropped it. Gmail. I mean, look at all this information that's available. There's 9 voice recordings of me somewhere. Wow. App Inventor right there. Yeah, so this is information. Let's see, where did you...
It was right, yeah, mine was right there between me on the web and analytics, but
All right.
I don't see yours.
Manage analytics. Yeah, I don't know that we're going to be
You
able
want
to...
that about me on the web? Yeah.
What?
On the right, that says there's something about me on the web.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't want to waste too much time on this. Anybody have questions? This shouldn't show too. Me on the web, can help you understand and manage what people see when they search for you. Yeah, this is just finding me on the web. But there is, I just don't know what it was. Any questions on Google Analytics? Is anybody going to try it? You want to create a quick website? Let me show you a new site. Wix.com. W-I-X. Whoops. Try that again. If you want to go in and create a fast, down and dirty website for free, go to Wix. This is the coolest website creator I've ever used. Oh, sure. Who is this? I don't remember now. Here I am doing it again. I don't know. Anyway, you pick a website, you pick a template, you go into it, This is actually the website itself. Start here.
WIX.
Gotta log in. Of course, I'm not gonna. Yeah, wix.com. And I just can't even remember what email address it is.
So it's easier than the Google website for you?
Oh, God, yeah. It's the easiest site I've ever used. There we go. So if I go into, right here, go into my account, I can show you the sites that we're working on right now. No, we're not gonna go into it. But you go into create an account, go into create, pick a website, a business website, doesn't really matter. Select a template, click edit, and it is so quick, so easy. It's just really incredible. I mean, we did Drupal, and I teach Drupal, and I'm still using this for my daughter's website. So, you know, it's just that simple. You just type in your information. Preview, there it's done already. It's super simple. I think WordPress is pretty darn simple. This is even more simple than that. So you can go in here, you can change the picture, you can change all kinds of stuff. So I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but I just created a mobile website with this. So,
Can you use your own URL with it then?
yes. In fact, it's better if you do, if you have your own domain name. Yeah.
So there's another domain that's being hosted by another website. Can you go there too?
Yes. Ours is being hosted by WordPress, and I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. And yeah, I actually switched my daughter's account over to this. They run specials every once in a while. I just want to see if I can at least get onto the site. So I created a mobile app for hers where, of course, we have no service here, so I can't do it here. You'd think I'd be, oh, there's no dot, that's what it is. So right now I'm creating a mobile website. I was working on it earlier that has all the schedule for the next few days. And I'm going to share it with everybody because I'm tired of having to go look at my book when I can just open my phone and look at it. So we're going to have that pretty soon.
The schedule for this conference?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm almost done. I wish I had done it last week. I just didn't think about it. So you go in here, you sign in, you follow the thing. How to. Why is this not taking me into it? And here I'm talking and chewing gum at the same time, and that's the problem.
So what do you know that people do with Google Analytics? How do they use it? I mean, to me, you can create it, but you have to know how to use and evaluate the data.
You have to know how to read reports, and you have to understand what the data is that you're looking at. And that takes a little bit of time. I mean, some people just automatically can look at a chart and go, okay, I see it, I get it. And that's the beauty of this, is you can turn the data into pie charts. Because, you know, when you see data on an Excel spreadsheet, you got to know what you're looking at to read it. But a pie chart, suddenly, you know, everything that's written there is fairly clear. And that's the beauty of Google Analytics, is it gives you the deep, in-depth information, but it will make it as simple as possible so you can use it. But it just shows you what are people interested in. I mean, if you're spending, you know, $1,200 for that video in the center of your page and nobody's looking at it, you're wasting money. I think there was a study on WYNC radio. In fact, I read this while I was doing the Webucator thing, that WINC put Google Analytics on their site, and they discovered that all the locations that they thought were the hottest, best things were not the things that people were looking at. That people were actually more engaged with different kind of verbiage. They became more engaged with different types of clicking. People usually only click 3 or 4 times to get where they want to go. So if they're specifically looking for something, it's important that that's on that first page. They discovered an awful lot about it. In fact, there's a study in Yelp, about Yelp as well, that's really kind of interesting, but it tells you how it helped them really come in and focus on what they're doing.
So if the circumvention's in place and you can block, then where are we gonna go with this?
We don't know, because it just happened last week. We don't know how it's going to affect people. The feeling is, the feeling in the industry is that people are so connected right now to Google and to everything else that very few people are going to bother to do it. I don't care if people see my data. I kind of like it. I know that when I go onto Google, I'm going to see ads that I care about. And I'm not going to see the crap I don't want to see. So I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with it in Facebook either. I don't have a problem with them direct marketing to me. Doesn't mean I'm going to click on anything, because that's my choice still. And I know I have to pay for these sites by looking at the ads. Because otherwise I'm going to pay out of my pocket. And I prefer not to do it that way. I prefer to be able to pay by reading and pay by clicking or not. So I think that we're going to see that people are not that concerned. There are going to be people out there who are freaking out. I'm sure there's a blog out there with a total freak out about this. Oh my God, did you know? I'm never going to use Facebook again, and whatever. You know, okay, you know, disconnect yourself. That's okay. That's your choice. But really, I think in the long run it's going to be a wash. But I do think in the short run, there's going to be some skewing of stats. But just in the short run, just while people go through their freak out phase. And then they go, gosh, I'd really rather get, you know, ads from Zappos shoes rather than from, I don't know, Kotex. You know, I really want to see the things that I want to see. So I think then they'll go
So
back
it doesn't block ads, it just
blocks the marketing of you. It blocks the stats of who you are and what you want, what you like. So I guess if you're a porn king, you might want to block your stats. But, you know, and I can tell you, they're always on the far right side of the IP area, just so you know, the public computer area. That's where those guys are. So yeah, you know, there are reasons, and you know, I guess if you're a terrorist, you might want to block, you know, where you're clicking, so people don't see you're clicking on bombs and stuff like that. So yeah, I can see it.
I had a patron not too long ago ask, she was actually trying to delete the Facebook account. And they make it, you know, it's kind of hard to actually delete it.
Yeah, you gotta find out how, you gotta find the.
Yeah, and then you gotta wait 14 days.
Many more clicks than the normal 3.
And she goes, and a lot of people have heard this, but she goes, you know, why do they make it so hard for their customers to just turn them off? I'm like, you're not the customer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, remember, if it's a free service, and this is kind of anywhere you go, you're not the customer, you're the product.
You're the product. That's right. You're the end. How did she take that? I've never told anyone that.
Her job, she goes, there were 2 other people off the side of her who were just, I guess, kind of eavesdropping, and they started laughing. She's like, I can't believe that. I'm like, it's, you know.
I have never told anybody that. I'm going to have to say that one of these times, because that's really what it is. So, yeah. So anyway, any other questions?
Those of you who use Google Analytics on your site, how do you use it?
We set it
Oh, we
up.
got somebody back. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You start.
We set it up, my director had to put on a report somewhere, how many clicks does your website get?
So that's all I use.
And so they had to find out.
Yeah.
We start very basically with a basic set of metrics, how many clicks, where they're coming from, what pages they're going to, and we kind of limit it to, well, how many are going to the database, how many go to the blog page, how many are going to the catalog. And then we have a person that administers it. And then if people ask more questions, then we add more metrics. I can't think of the last time somebody asked me more questions about it.
Did you find once you started using reports, you started going, oh, we can do this and we can do that? Did you find that happened, or?
No.
No? Oh, gosh, I
I
did.
mean,
Once I started, it
Just
was
because, I mean, we're living in an age where everybody's real data
driven. Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at reports all day long from all over the place. So website statistics from the library don't really compare to, say, other statistics from other parts of the university. That just might be my industry. Now, the person who administers it for us, she looks at the data. She gets a lot of ideas.
Yeah, this should
So,
matter.
yeah, it helps to have her, because then she comes and says, did you know that this is happening?
Mhm.
And I say, no, I didn't know that it's happening, then we make decisions based on that. So at my level, I can see if this person who's done is admin done.
I'd love to have it on our site because we were recently in the news. Really, I mean, real glowing stuff in the news, like 4 weeks in a row. You can bet the use of our website jumped. Do we have any record of that? No. And so, you can see how negative news reports impact you. You can see how positive news reports impact you. I recently did a QuickBooks class. And 4 weeks ago, the newspaper put it in their go section, and it was full to the brim. So I scheduled another one. 4 people. Nobody picked it up, nobody carried it, nobody marketed it, so nobody came. So, but you can really see how that type of stuff impacts the use of your site, the use of your product.
I know this may not pertain to libraries as much, but I used to work and still do part-time for a safety company that has offices in Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And when we first set up Google Analytics, the big thing that they used it for was to see which of those states were most of the traffic coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And then the president of the company basically called the regional manager and said, yeah, they're not getting a lot of hits.
Lift it up, or, and that's SEOs are, search engine optimization organizations are freaked out by this Google Analytics thing, because that is how they use the data. Not enough people calling from Alaska. We gotta up the ads in Alaska.
But the real bottom line is, people don't start at library websites.
No.
The library website, while you have to have one, in the end,
Not a
is
draw.
not a draw. People aren't coming there. You just have to look at the data.
Right.
They're not coming.
Well, you know where they're coming? The data on the library sites that I've looked at, that I've seen, they are coming in and using the databases and the e-resources, and that's what they're using. They don't care about our special events. They don't care about, the dance that's coming up. They don't even care about the e-readers, although they're starting to, the e-reader stories. They're coming in, they're going straight to our e-databases, and they're using genealogy, and they're using foreign languages, and they're using journals, and EBSCO, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure that's what our data would show too, but that's what most of the libraries that I've seen show. Do you have a question?
No.
Okay.
But did they start there? And you can't.
Did they start? I never looked at that.
You can't really tell that.
I think.
Well, yes, you can on Google Analytics.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can see even where they came from. You can
where they
even see the sites that they come from. You can see not just the search engines that bring them in there, but the sites, unless the sites block that data, and then it says no data available, but it shows that it's another site. It says something. Do you?
I saw one the other day. It's blocked or something.
Yeah.
It flat out tells you that you can't.
So there are sites that block, showing you that you're coming from them, and there should be some secure sites that do that.
The bank.
Huh?
They're coming from the bank or something.
Right, exactly, or the hospital, or, yeah, they're coming from something. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, though. Yeah, I'm done, you guys. No more questions? Please try it. Even if you have to create your own name, if you create your own website, you are going to have to pay for your domain name. It's going to cost you $17, roughly. Although sometimes it's on sale. Wix recently had a deal where if you got their web service for half price for a year, you'd get a free domain name, you'd get $75 Facebook ads, and $75 worth of Google ads. So it was a real good deal. So for $75, you got all that. So, but that was for a year's service and everything, kind of like on GoDaddy or anything else. That's server space is what you're renting. But watch for stuff like that and try it. Really spend some time playing with some of these sites, because it's just pretty astounding what's out there for free that you can do without even thinking about it. All I am doing with the mobile website that I'm creating right now is copying the agenda that was emailed to me and pasting it in. That is all that I'm doing. So it's going to be done in 20 minutes if I sit down and actually get it done. So spend some time doing that. And play. And keep in mind that when you walk away from this, you may think, I've got so much in my head, but in 4 or 5 months, all of a sudden, it's going to start coming back out. It's going to start rising to the surface, and you're going to start using it. Because when I started, I was a techie in that I tried every new product, but I wasn't a techie in that I understood anything about how to do anything on the internet. And now, you know, I'm teaching classes, so be aware that every little thing you learn and try is something more that you can share with other people. That's it. Thank you all very much.
So is this your best free website right now?
Wix, right now I'm on Wix, yeah, but it's not always. I was on Android apps, I was on Google Analytics, now Wix is the flavor of the month for me. But
Anybody else have some favorite free sites?
Yeah, there you go. Anybody else?
What?
Anything, free to do stuff.
We were just talking about, like Pinterest.
Pinterest, P-I-N?
Yeah, it's interest with P in front of it. It's like delicious, but image-based.
Oh.
So,
Oh!
so like, it's like delicious, you know, like the same website. So basically you go to a website and you like an image of it, you think it's like a cool, you basically pin it like you would in English, just like tagging it, and then
That's
and
really
then you
cool.
tag it into like a board, and like it's like food or, you know, craft or something like that.
Mhm.
And you can write a short description of it, and then so
Yeah, I haven't seen Pinterest.
so it's relatively new. It's only invite only right now.
So can you transfer delicious stuff
I don't
to
think it's
it?
that.
That would be nice.
No, yeah, because like I said, it's very image based, really, you know, and that,
Mhm.
it doesn't really work, which is like just text.
It'd be great for
Okay.
food.
So
Yeah, it'd be great for food. And I think my daughter owns a
yeah, it's
cafe. I think she'll be.
a lot of clothes, you know, like crafts.
Okay, so anything that's image.
Anything that's like, yeah,
Driven.
very image based, so we did like sharing things like that. So you have like, you get like friends post, and then everything they post, you know, should like come in the feed.
Mhm.
Saying this kind of stuff.
That is cool. Thank you. Anyone else? I did forget to tell you that you can have up to 25 users on Google Analytics, and you should create a different, you can have one account that you're running it all, but you should create different accounts for each of your businesses. You shouldn't try to do them all at once. You'll figure that out if you take the tutorial. What was the other thing I was just going to say? Oh, Facebook. Anybody have an idea? Do you think Facebook is waning?
I'm starting
I
to
think
use
it's
it, so
waning.
probably so.
I just wonder what the next big thing is. I think the next big thing is going to be kind of a mashup of Facebook and YouTube, because I think we're very image based, and I think Pinterest is a real indication of that. So I think we're going to see some kind of combination of either videos and photo and information. We got that a little bit in Facebook, but I think we're going to see that.
You know, Tumblr is really good at that too.
I never use YouTube.
I love YouTube.
I mean, that's just the way it seemed to me. Watching little things on YouTube is a waste of time.
Really?
Don't ask me why.
I think
It's
it's
just
me
me
personally.
personally.
on there are exquisite. Wow. But I mean, there are really good.
Wait a minute, the dancing cats, I mean, really?
It's VLR, no V.
Really? Oh,
I was looking at
Service.
different library instruction.
Yeah.
But it does the photo, video.
and it doesn't reduce the resolution of your photos, and it has analytics all ready to go, third-party apps able to add. So this is for like photo? It's even got a dash?
It's anything, I mean, it's like a blog, but it integrates photo and video. Its biggest quality, I think, is that you can reblog really easily.
Okay.
You can what?
Reblog, you can find something else that you like and put it in your own stream, and then people can follow you and see what you're interested in.
So what's the best blogging platform?
Bloggings are on.
You're going to hear as many opinions as there are people on that one.
Yeah, people don't want to spend the amount of time it takes to read a blog.
They're too long, yeah, 140 characters.
I mean, Twitter's.
Tweet me any day. I'll read your tweet, I'm not gonna read your blog.
Tumblr's that nice medium between
Yeah.
Send me an image.
Twitter and
Yeah, between, yeah, Twitter and, yeah. What did you say?
I would say, I would think the more image-based, I don't know, it's so much easier, even reading a tweet, like it's.
A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Have you seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Noses?
What? Teenage Mutant
Okay.
Ninja
On
Noses?
the Tumblr, before the, or take out www and type Teenage Mutant Ninja Noses.
Ninja Noses. I've missed.
Oh, maybe that wasn't, wait a minute, let me see if I can find it. It's a Tumblr blog.
So it's a Tumblr blog. So Tumblr's
Yeah,
blog.
Teenage Mutant Ninja
That's
Noses
kind of a lot. That's
Tumblr.com.
really,
Oops, not the wrong thing. Teenage Mutant Ninja Noses.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up here.
try that one right at the fun number alert. Oh, you got it.
What?
That's
That is
it's
pretty cool.
ridiculous. I just saw it the other day.
That's awesome.
So who is that? Is that Leonardo? Is that Donatello? Who is it? We don't know.
It's-
No color on the,
It's,
Yeah.
no, someone.
oh, the nose makes a difference. That's really funny.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of celebrity pictures that are done. That's the kind of
It's
stuff.
gathering information, all right.
Now,
Yeah, but it's
what
fun
about
to see something like that. Come
information
on.
essay?
We gotta admit, it's kind of fun. So I see that it does ads, though. It adds ads on the side.
It can have it.
Is that a choice?
No, no, this is
Well, that's
boing
boing boing right there.
Oh,
They're just talking about it. Yeah, there's probably a link to it below that, but, yeah, the actual
Yeah.
site I don't think has ads.
Yeah, it says Teenage Mutant Ninja Noses, like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go.
Teenage Mutant Ninja
That is awesome. I just find the Ninja Turtle in his work.
That's too much fun.
Okay.
So this is all about entertainment. A lot of Tumblr is all about entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm just
You
anxious.
see the, well, you see the nose and then it turns into a turtle that way.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, but that's, again, there's nothing beyond that. Other than to be silly.
Yes.
Well,
What other kind of time?
what I love about this is when I sit in my staff meetings and I say, you know, with all the research moving on to the internet, it's really justified my bold claim of, is research fun?
Is,
Is it fun?
yeah, it can be. Can't it? No?
With the amount of crap that's on the internet, it's pretty clear what most people want to do.
Oh, I see what you're
With our
saying, yeah.
information sources, they want to play around.
Oh, yeah, that's, we have tracked at our library, every public computer, so I know which ones are on what pages and all that, and especially
Facebook?
especially,
And
yeah,
YouTube?
since we made our homepage, the actual library page and not Google, Facebook crushes everything else, it's not even close.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, especially the Facebook ad network there, FBN dot whatever.
Yeah.
But,
All the,
oh yeah, it doesn't even compare. They normally do twice as that Google does, and Google's number 2.
wow. All right,
So that says that Facebook isn't.
It's gonna-
I don't think it's, no, I don't think it's done. I just think I think the interest is waning a little bit. You know what?
Yeah, I'm getting,
I don't have time for it anymore, but I'll tweet,
Teenagers will decide.
and I don't
what the
tweet
next
all the
one-
time. Teenagers what?
Will decide what the next social network
See,
is.
Yeah, we don't get a
I have
choice.
time for
Yeah.
Facebook,
Yeah.
but I don't have time for college.
but the
Yeah, honey?
the younger kids don't like Twitter, do they? As
No,
much?
Twitter is not a big, in fact, I
No,
use
it is.
Twitter, were we talking the other day? I was talking to somebody, I use Twitter at conferences. And so, like at Computers in the Library, there were 25 or 30 things going on every single time. And so I'd sit in my conference, and if people were tweeting that something was outstanding and the one I was in was not, I laughed.
You wanna-
And I went to the other, I love Twitter for conferences. So as far as an everyday tool, not so much. But, yeah.
I
It
think
has
that's
its
the
place.
thing, is people are gonna specialize with what works for what thing.
Yeah,